Okay, guys, talking about delegation, for every business, the higher up in ranks that these businesses come, the more delegation is important. The more we need to learn how to delegate. And delegating is always hard. I think every leader at one point or another in their life feel that it's hard to find somebody else to do what they do. There's nobody that can actually do it as good as they can. And to a degree, they're right. But then what they get to realize is their job is to help develop other people that can do as good and better than what they can do. I'm grateful to tell you that I have many people in my life that have become better than me in certain areas. And I'm grateful for that. That's amazing. I love to have that type of people around me. An individual that I've known for many years, and he's in his middle to upper 70s now, owns a multi-million-dollar business, started at the age of 14 in, guess what, sales is where he started. He now has a business of purchasing wrecked vehicles, disassembling them, and selling parts. He has several different facilities, employees, lots and lots of people. One day as we were talking about different things, I asked him, sir, what's the secret? And he's not used to having that question asked, and he just stopped, and he thought for a second. He looked and smiled a little bit and said, I just learned how to hire smarter people than myself. And for him to say that was really, really powerful, because this guy has built a massive business, totally a massive business, acres upon acres of vehicles and buildings, and these are nice buildings. He's really structured it in such a way that's very productive and sells lots of new and used vehicle parts and ships them all over the United States. And when he said that, it just really, I found that to be quite interesting. And, of course, I've worked with him and his company to a degree, and also some of the people that work for him I know very well. And so as I say that, I already knew some of his story and knew some of what helped him be successful. Now, let's move away from this. Talk about delegating. Let's take a look at Moses leading the Israelites out. He was helping them in solving their problems because, guess what, they had lots of them. And he'd be busy from morning till night, and his father-in-law says, Moses, you'll wear yourself out. This won't work. He says, if you would only listen to me. And Moses was like, okay, tell me. And he goes, you need to have 10 people that work right below you. And then below those are another 10 that each one of those are responsible for. And below those are another 50, and whatever the list goes on down, to where they are working with everybody gets attention and gets their problem solved. And if it's a major problem they would bring it on up to the next one above, or if that one can't solve it, on up to where it would ultimately maybe even come to him. And Moses took that advice. Isn't that interesting? Here he was a prophet called by God to do this, but he took the advice of his father-in-law, which wasn't even an Israelite, but took that advice, and sure enough, it worked. It helped him. But he delegated. He was delegating all this work out and took 90% of it away from him because he delegated it. Now, Moses could have argued and said, no, wait a minute. God himself came to a burning bush and said, you get to do this. He could have argued with his father-in-law and said, and who are you? You're not even Israelite to tell me what I should be doing there. But as it was, he listened and he delegated, and it made his life so much easier. Now let's come to modern world. Richard Branson. Most of you probably know of him or The Virgin, but if not, you can look him up. Richard Branson. Sir Richard Branson, when he was just starting out his dynasty, he was having issues with it, and things wasn't going the speed that he wanted it to, and he was very good at what he was doing, and he was having issues getting somebody else to do what he needed done. And so it created incredible internal turmoil, and I guess just things didn't run smoothly for him. But also he wasn't delegating. He didn't know how to delegate. He didn't believe he could, and he didn't believe there was anybody else there that was good enough to be able to take over and do what he needed to do. And so with that being said, eventually somebody challenged him to start delegating So he got challenged to start delegating. Today, he owns a multi-billion-dollar business operating and performing at an incredible level. With that being said, the importance of delegating is crucial, even if it's you and one other person. Whatever it takes, the absolute crucial importance of delegating is, if you're going to go up in business, go up in life, anywhere, and make a difference in people's lives, delegating must happen. I am so grateful to say that here in 5-Star, there are many people that have taken the role on of taking over certain parts of the company that they are effectively and doing a great job of performing, where in many scenarios it could have been looked at like, these people really don't know what they're doing, and if we pass this part over, whoever the top leaders are, pass this part over, how can we possibly know that they're going to do a good job? And see, we don't always know that they're going to do a job. We don't always know that they're going to do what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. What we do know is that unless we let somebody else take a portion over, we will never know if they have what it takes to do it. So my challenge is, to delegate is risky, especially in one's business. It's very risky to delegate, because what if this person doesn't do a good job? What if this person messes it up? What if this person has self-interest? What if this person has their own agenda that they're secretly trying to operate in? What if? But I'm going to come back with the what if on the other side. What if this person has a hidden gift and skill that they can bring to the company? What if this person all of a sudden blossoms and blooms and takes that part of whatever they're doing to the next level, way beyond your capacity or my capacity? What if this person just skyrockets up through there? What if this person makes the company 5 times as valuable as it was before? You know, there's also a contrary side of the what ifs. Far too often we use what if as on a bad sense, like what if something bad happens? What if this person doesn't pay their bill? What if this person speaks up? What if this person, the list goes on of what ifs. What if this person steals from the company? What if this person doesn't care? What if this person keeps their own agenda? You know, we oftentimes look at things, use the what if in a negative way, but there's also an equal positive what if out there as well. That's the one that I'm going to challenge you as leaders and bosses and parents to look at. What if this child has the capacity to do this right? And when you delegate, they can start moving up in life. They can start being successful. They can start exercising their gift, and the spotlight can be on them for a moment. When I'm going to use an example, when Benjamin begins to coaching quite a number of years ago, there were people that viewed him like, are you kidding me? This guy being a coach. Today, he's a very effective and powerful coach. But you see, nobody could see that gift. I'm not sure that he's seen it. He's just excited to do what he loves to do, and that's serve. But that could be you. I don't know what your gift is, but try. Step out. Do it. Maybe your gift is discovering how to delegate well. There's people that's really their gift. They learn who to put where and how to get to mobilize people and how to inspire them to go be all they can be and to serve at the highest level possible. We all have a unique talent and gift in a certain area, but many of ours overlap in many areas. But let's come back to delegating. Delegating is absolutely crucial and important. We've viewed the story of Moses in that particular scenario. We have viewed a modern-day story of Sir Richard Branson. We have, just as I was speaking, many of you guys were thinking of your own scenario and how you might use this in your own business. That is very good, and you get to do that. So my challenge for all of you guys is, how can you delegate? How can you today take a small step towards delegating a little bit more? And if you happen to be the person that something has been delegated to, how can you give your absolute best to that most excellent version of who you are without the fear of, what if I do it wrong? Release that fear. because that will actually keep you from being all that you can be. If you're so fearful that you won't get it right, you'll get it wrong. Yes, you should be concerned and you should be giving everything you've got. You shouldn't just walk out there, I really don't care if I get it right or wrong. It doesn't matter. Al said I shouldn't worry about it. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is sometimes we allow this fear of getting it wrong to be so strong in our life that it paralyzes us from even taking the first step in moving in that direction, from both the person that needs to delegate to the person that was chosen as the person to do the work that was delegated to him or her. With that being said, delegation is absolutely crucial. It's important. It's part of leadership. It's a biblical principle that has been handed down to us and passed on down. We get to exercise it as leaders on this planet. Thank you guys for joining us today. Make it a great day, and as always, remember, don't settle for less than who you are. May God bless you.